Japan appears like a perfectly tuned machine, where daily life flows without effort. You see quiet trains, polite queues, and spotless streets. But this smooth surface is a grand illusion. It's not magic, and it's certainly not chaos. Japan actually hides a strict, invisible rulebook. These aren't written down anywhere, yet they guide every step, every interaction. They make Japan feel easy, but they demand a silent, constant understanding from everyone. This is the truth behind the effortless. So, what's the secret? It's not magic, and it's definitely not a coincidence. Before we continue, hit subscribe so you never miss the latest updates. If you've ever been to Japan, you might have felt this yourself. It's a strange feeling, because nobody actually tells you the rules. There are no big signs yelling at you to be quiet on the train or to line up perfectly at the bus stop. And yet, everyone just does. Things just seem to work, almost automatically. It can feel like you've walked into a country where everyone got a secret instruction manual but you. Well, it turns out that's not far from the truth. Japan runs on a whole set of these unwritten rules. They aren't laws you can look up in a book. They're more like a shared understanding, a feeling for how things should be done. It's about knowing when to speak up and when to stay quiet, or sensing what the group wants without anyone having to say it out loud. And here's the most interesting part. Even people who grew up in Japan don't automatically know all the answers. They learn over time, by watching others, trying things out, sometimes getting it wrong, and then adjusting. It's a constant process of developing a feel for the right way to act in almost any situation. These are the invisible gears that make daily life in Japan turn so smoothly. So in this video, we're going to pull back the curtain. We'll explore the most important unwritten rules that explain why Japan just works. So what's the one big idea that makes all these unwritten rules tick? If you had to boil it all down, it comes down to a single concept. In Japanese, it's called wa. Wa means group harmony. It's the powerful underlying belief that the needs of the group are more important than the wants of any one person. This isn't just a nice idea. It's the cultural software that runs almost every social interaction in Japan. This is why things feel so orderly. The goal isn't just for you to have a good day. The goal is for everyone to have a smooth, predictable, and pleasant experience together. Keeping the train car quiet isn't about following a rule. It's about not disturbing the other 100 people in the car with you. Lining up perfectly isn't about being told to. It's about making the process fair and efficient for the whole group. To make this work, people need a very specific skill: the ability to read the atmosphere. In Japanese, this is called Kuki wo Yomu. It means sensing the mood of a room or the expectations of a group without anyone saying a word. It's about knowing when it's your turn to speak and when it's better to stay silent. It's sensing that the group has reached a decision, even if no one has officially said, "Okay, we all agree." It's feeling when an apology is needed to smooth things over, long before an argument can even start. And here's the key. Nobody is born with this skill. It's learned over years. You learn it by watching, by listening, and by sometimes getting it wrong and having to adjust. Even people who grew up in Japan spend their whole lives practicing and getting better at it. These aren't just polite suggestions. They're the real rules. They're the shared understandings that make clean streets, quiet trains, and a feeling of collective calm possible. It's this deep commitment to group harmony that really makes Japan work. So what does all this harmony and atmosphere reading actually look like in the real world? Just watch people at a busy train station in Tokyo. You'll see something amazing. Without any signs or guards telling them where to stand, people automatically form perfect single-file lines right where the train doors will open. No one cuts, no one pushes. It just happens. The same thing happens inside the train. It's often incredibly quiet, even when it's packed with hundreds of people. There aren't no talking signs everywhere. People just understand that keeping the space peaceful is the collective goal. It's an unwritten rule that everyone follows. And this instinctive orderliness kicks in during emergencies too. when things go wrong, there's a sense that everyone knows how to act to keep the situation calm and safe for the group. But here's the most interesting part. Nobody is ever explicitly taught these rules. You don't get a handbook when you're a kid titled, "How to Line Up Properly." Instead, people learn by doing. They learn by watching others, by sometimes getting it wrong, and by quietly adjusting their behavior to fit in. Over time, you just develop a feel for it. You learn how to move with the crowd, not against it. A lot of visitors to Japan are stunned by this. They look around for the instructions, for the person in charge telling everyone what to do. But there often isn't one. The system runs itself. Because in Japan, the rules that matter most aren't the ones written on the walls. They're the ones everyone has already agreed to follow, without ever saying a word. It's how millions of people can share a tiny space and make it feel effortless. Think about those signs you see on public transport everywhere in the world. Please be considerate of other passengers. It's a nice thought, but what does it actually mean? How loud is too loud? Is your music bleeding through your headphones? There's no clear instruction manual for being considerate. And in Japan, that's exactly the point. This is where you see the unwritten rules in action. The ones nobody ever tells you about, but everyone is expected to know. It's what one writer called a society governed by rules you're not supposed to ask about. So how do you learn them? You learn by watching. You learn by paying attention to the faces of the people around you. You develop a feel for the situation, almost like a sixth sense for social harmony. The Japanese have a term for this: reading the atmosphere. And here's something that might surprise you. Even people who grew up in Japan get it wrong sometimes. It's not like they're born with a special instruction manual. They're constantly guessing and adjusting, just like anyone else. They learn these subtle social cues through a quiet cycle of trial and error. You do something. You sense a little awkwardness from the people around you, and you mentally file that away for next time. This is how people know when to speak and when to stay silent on a packed train. It's why someone might apologize for a problem before it even really happens. They're sensing the potential for friction and smoothing it over ahead of time. This shared, unspoken discipline is the engine that keeps public spaces running so efficiently. It's why the trains are so quiet and the streets are so clean, often without a single supervisor or loud announcement in sight. It's not about following a rigid checklist of do's and don'ts. Instead, it's about millions of people all trying to do the same thing. Feel out the situation, read the room, and adjust their own behavior to make things work for everyone. It's a system that runs on silent, mutual agreement. This incredible ability to read the room has a name in Japanese. It's called Kuki or Yomu, which literally means reading the air. And it's probably the single most important social skill in Japan. Reading the air isn't about following written rules. It's about sensing the unspoken ones. It's a quieter layer to every interaction, built on timing, hesitation, and even silence. It's knowing when to speak up and, more importantly, when to stay quiet. It's sensing that you should probably apologize for something, even if nobody has actually blamed you. It's how a group of people can reach an agreement on something without ever taking a vote or even saying, "Okay, let's do this." Everyone just feels the mood shift, and they know a decision has been made. This is the invisible force that makes things just work. It's why people line up for the train without being told, and why those trains stay so quiet without a conductor yelling at everyone. But here's the most surprising part. Japanese people aren't born with this skill. Nobody is. In fact, one writer put it perfectly. They said that people in Japan don't just know the right thing to do. Instead, they spend their entire lives in a quiet cycle. They guess, they get it wrong, they feel the subtle correction from others, they adjust, and they guess again. It's a lifelong process of paying attention and developing a feel for the situation. And this is where it gets really tricky, because sometimes the unwritten rules clash with each other. For example, there's a strong expectation to always be on time. But there can also be an equally strong expectation to not leave the office before your boss does. So what do you do if your boss is still working late? There's no easy answer. You can't look it up in a rulebook. You have to read the air. You have to sense what matters most in that specific moment with those specific people. This constant, subtle judgment call is what keeps things from boiling over into arguments or awkwardness. It's the silent, continuous effort that prevents public friction and makes the whole system run so smoothly. So how do you know which rule matters most? How do you know whether to be on time or to stay late with your boss? This is where one of the biggest, most fundamental ideas in Japanese society comes into play. It's the unwritten rule that sits underneath all the others. It's the idea of inside versus outside. In Japanese culture, everyone you interact with is sorted into one of two groups. There's your Uchi or your inside group. This is your family, your close-knit team at work, your oldest friends. With them, you can be more relaxed, more direct, and more yourself. The rules are a little softer. Then there's everyone else. They are Soto or outside. This includes strangers, new acquaintances, customers, or people from another company. With the outside group, the rules are much more formal and rigid. Politeness and respect are cranked up to the maximum. This isn't about being friendly or unfriendly. It's a social roadmap. It tells you exactly how to act in any given situation, without ever having to guess. When you're dealing with outsiders, you follow the strict public rules we've talked about. The quiet trains, the perfect cues, the extreme politeness. This is what maintains group harmony on a massive scale. It's how millions of strangers can share a city without friction. But inside your trusted circle, you can finally let your guard down. That's where you build deep, lifelong trust. This is also why it can feel so difficult for foreigners to break into Japanese society. By definition, you start on the outside. You haven't spent a lifetime absorbing all those unspoken signals. You haven't learned to read the air from the inside. It's a system that creates incredibly strong bonds within groups, while keeping public interactions predictable and smooth. You just have to know which group you're in. But this perfectly smooth, harmonious system has to have a catch, right? All this quiet cooperation, this effortless flow, it doesn't just happen by magic. There's a trade-off, a hidden pressure that holds the whole thing together. The reality is the exact opposite. It's a society that's run by a huge number of invisible rules. Rules you're not even supposed to ask about. You're just expected to know them. One Japanese writer explained it perfectly. They said that even for people born and raised there, it's a non-stop cycle. You guess what you're supposed to do. You get it wrong. Someone subtly corrects you, maybe with just a look. You adjust. And then you guess all over again, for the rest of your life. That's it for today. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more updates you won't want to miss.